I'm still me, but with a plus. With new friends, with all the things that I've learned from them, for all the things that I've been learning with the activity of the volunteering project, or just because I learned a new language. Each small thing is a small piece of a bigger puzzle.
Welcome to the Volunteer Support Podcast, brought to you by the European Union's co-funded project Promptus EDU, a collaboration between associations Audis Out Mori and Building Bridges.
Welcome to Promptus EDU, the podcast dedicated to helping volunteers navigate their experiences abroad. I'm Luisa from Associación Building Bridges, and today we'll be discussing the stage of cultural adaptation. With me, there will be two special guests, Ana y Carolina. Welcome.
Hola. Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Good. Yes? Are you happy to be here?
Obviously.
Thank you for joining our today's podcast. So before asking you some questions, I would like to talk a little bit about the stages of cultural adaptation. We know that adapting to a new culture can be a roller coaster of emotion. I love this word. It's always a roller coaster, like ups and down. But understanding the typical stages of cultural adaptation can make the journey smoother. You know that you will go down. But if you learn a little bit how does this curve works, it will be maybe easy to go up again.
Yeah, to manage the situation.
And this process can be described using a curve model that consists of four main phases: the honeymoon phase, the crisis phase, the adaptation process, and the reverse cultural shock stage. Let's see together a little bit what does it mean each stage. The honeymoon phase is the initial stage, where everything feels exciting, new, amazing. You maybe feel very optimistic, and you can be focusing on positive aspects of the new environment. You are, wow, this place is amazing. You are meeting new friends, and you are feeling very excited and happy to be there. But in a moment, the curve goes down, and the crisis phase came. The crisis phase, or the cultural shock phase, is the phase where the difference in culture starts to feel overwhelming. You might experience anxiety, confusion, or frustration as you are struggling to adapt to the new social norms and behaviors. And maybe you can experience some symptoms like changes in eating and sleeping habits, homesickness, irritability. You can feel a little bit sad because you are missing your friends or your family. You don't feel so integrated, struggling a little bit to understand this new environment.
It's like if you have to start again.
Yes, it is starting again. But you will start again, because after the crisis phase, here we have the adaptation process. During this phase, you start to regain your balance. You start to understand the new culture, and you find the ways to cope with the differences. You became more comfortable and confident in all your surroundings. You may be now used to new habits. You have your new friends. You still miss your family and your friends, but you are also happy for the new things that you are doing. So you are now in this moment where you are adapting to the new culture, and you feel fine. You have stability and confidence.
And you're feeling you're growing up. That's the most important thing.
But I think that going to the adaptation process, it's also growing up.
Yeah.
Because you are feeling new emotions, and you are learning how to manage with them, and so you are growing.
And also you're knowing parts of yourself you didn't know before.
Of course. And this is something that you experience when you come back home. When we can go through the reverse culture shock stage. Because you feel comfortable in the new culture, but now it's time to go home. And however, you will go home as a different person, because you have been living in a foreign culture, and you have learned a new language, and you have grown. You have changed some of your habits. You have new friends from other countries, from around the world. You have passed through stages of excitement, frustration, adaptation. So now you will face a new kind of culture shock. You will see your home from a new perspective. And you will see it different because even we are changing when we go abroad, but also our home change because people that stay at their home are also growing and changing. We are not freezing the time. As froze the time and come back, it's the same as I left it. No, a lot of things change. You change and then, what place is this? Is this my house? I remember when I was finishing my volunteering long time ago. When I came back home, for me it was very hard to sleep in my bed. I don't know why. The first days I was struggling because I was not used to my bed. And I was okay. I've been sleeping in another bed for a year. And now I'm back home. It is true that it is exists, the reverse culture shock stage. It's something that happened. But it's fine. It's part of the game too. All these stages are a roller coaster. And then when you enter into a new adventure, the roller coaster will start again and again. And we are always going ups and down, ups and down. Wow, amazing. Okay, no, I need to adapt now. So it's a little bit a roller coaster of emotion. And that's why it's so, interesting. And I think that it's amazing because it helps you to understand better yourself, as you were saying before, Carolina. It's like, wow, I'm trying to understand myself in another environment. So I can see also myself from another perspective.
For example, I discovered in Spain that I like to dance salsa, and in Italy I didn't know.
See, you discover a new hobby that you didn't know you had before. And I would like to talk about a little bit also cultural differences, because I think that those are also the differences that can impact your experience abroad. When I talk about cultural differences, I'm not talking about in a bad point of view. Differences are the things that made our world amazing. But sometimes it can be struggling a little bit to adapt to new places. Cultural differences can be fascinating, but also challenging because they encompass everything from communication styles, social norms, to food and daily routine. For example, in some culture, the direct eye contact is seen as a sign of confidence, while in other culture can be considered rude. So living in another place means also understanding the differences for feeling more integrated and to feel more comfortable in the place, which doesn't mean to lose our perspective, but learn to see the other perspective and embrace them, to live the full experience and learn new culture and learn from the new differences. Because I think that those differences, when we start to see them, they made us growing up because we are learning how to adapt. How can we navigate cultural differences to make sure that they're not a trauma, but challenging in a good way? We can pay attention to observe the people around us, ask questions, which is important. I think it's important though to not be afraid of ask about things that we are not understanding. Why something is going like I ask? It's better. Because if I ask, I will understand. If I don't ask, I am just assuming something. And assuming it's not always a good idea. It's better to ask and have the precise response. And be also open-minded to embrace new experiences, new perspectives. Mm-hmm. And I will also suggest to try to learn the language, because in the language there is also part of the cultural habits of people. I mean, languages are amazing. Go through language, we can understand a lot of things. So trying to learn the local languages can be also a step that can bring us further into the adaptation phase.
And to do this, you have to go out with people from the country.
Too, yes.
Because when I moved to Madrid, the first month I used to go out with people from Italy because it was more comfortable for me. But no, this is not a good thing to do. I mean, you can do both, go out with Italians, but also, or people from a country, but also try to, to speak with everybody and don't be afraid to make mistakes, like grammarly.
Yes, I think it's important to step out the comfort zone and see, okay, I will learn the language. I can go to a library and I can go to a concert. I can go to language exchanges and meet new people from the country I'm living in, from other countries, but staying a little bit out of my bubble to learn how to live the experience completely without missing anything. So since I have two guests with me, I would like to hear from them. For example, I would like to know about their experiences abroad, about any kind of culture shock they may have experienced when they were abroad, because I would like to provide you listeners to their point of view, to understand that this is real, but not necessarily bad. So, Carolina, can you tell us a little bit about a time when you experienced the culture shock?
Well, I'll start with one thing. My first shock was the first day because I arrived in Madrid at 10 p.m. And it was like summer, like June. And it looked like it was 6 p.m. And it was like, what's happening here? So why is like this? It's something that I loved each day in my life here in Spain, because imagine, you can go out at 10, it's still day. It seems like the day is like super long. You have so much time to do your things, and it's something that I like.
So it was not a cultural shock. It was something good for you at the end.
A cultural shock, but in a positive way for me, because I was like shocked. I was like, but in a positive way.
So Anna, why don't you tell us something? You have been in France, right?
Yes, that's right. I was doing my volunteering in France in 2019, and the cultural shock that I had was with the food, with the eating time. They have dinner at so much early time.
Okay.
So when, for example, they may have the dinner time at 6, 7 in the afternoon. So when there was like 9, 10 in the night, I was so much hungry. I want to eat a lot of things. So that was my cultural shock. That I was in a castle, in a little village with no much supermarket, fast food places. So I can go out and eat at that time. So and at the night I was very hungry.
Oh, so how did you?
In a bad way.
How did you cope with this? How did you solve?
Well, I steal food at the night from the kitchen because the bedroom and the kitchen was so close. So in the dinner, I steal some biscuits and yogurt from the kitchen, so I can eat in the night.
It seems fair enough to save some food for when you are hungry in the night.
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of funny because your culture shock is also a culture shock for foreign people coming to Spain. Because in Spain, people eat at 9 p.m. And when I talk with people that I used to in their country to eat very early, when they came here, I cannot wait until 9 p.m. It's too late. It's too late. So it's
When I travel, there's a typical cultural shock that I have all the time because I used to have dinner at 9, 8 at the most. But when I travel, it's like I have to change the chip and get used to quickly to get dinner sooner because if not, I cannot live there. Because restaurant close early, all the places, supermarket close early, much early than restaurants. So if not, where I can buy the food.
Of course. And food is important.
Very important.
Very important. And those are just some example of some small cultural shock that we can experience when living abroad. I'm sure that if you are listening to this podcast and you have been abroad, you are now thinking about all the small cultural shock that you have been experiencing during your volunteering project. And I could also talk even more and a lot about even other little shock, starting from the language. Wow, I want to share this. I've been living 1 year in Spain, talking Spanish every day. When I came back home to Italy, I was struggling talking in Italian. And people were saying to me that I was speaking in a strange way because I was still using some Spanish word. Because as Anna was saying before, changing the chip, I was struggling with changing the language chip when I came back home. And I think sometimes people were looking at me like, what? What are you saying? What did you say? I'm sorry. And I started speaking Italian, right? I didn't forget my language. It was just a little shock when I came back. And people were talking to me in my mother tongue that I was not used to speak anymore because I was speaking a lot in Spanish every day with also my flatmate. So it was, and I think I was talking in Italian only with my family when I was calling them. So it was strange, but also funny. And now sometimes they say to me that I have a Spanish accent when I speak Italian. So I don't know how to cope with this, but it's funny too.
I'm having the same problem, but I really like that I introduced some Spanish words in my Italian language. For example, I always say cariño. Cariño significa, it means like, treasure, my treasure, it's like a sweet word for friends or your boyfriend. And I don't know, it's something that I really like. I speak Italian, but with some Spanish words super beautiful for me. And I mean, I don't want to change this, just...
It's fine. I think that each person is made of the things that see, the music they listen to, the people they met, the language they learn, the places they visit, all the different perspectives that they may have because they have been staying abroad or approaching different situations. So we are all made of all of this. And I think that it's amazing when we learn how to make possible all the things that live together with us and use them and say, I'm not leaving behind this because I learned it and it's a part of me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to forget it. It's like put it together my soul puzzle. I like imagining people as puzzles so that we can feel and we can compose with different pieces. And some of these pieces can be hard to collect when we are in the curve and we are going down with the ups and downs. But then when the piece matches with the rest, we feel like, wow, I learned a new thing. I'm not a new person. I have just new...
I'm a bigger puzzle.
I just have gained more knowledge, more experience. I'm still me, but with a plus. With new friends, with all the things that I've learned from them, for all the things that I've been learning with the activity of the volunteering project, or just because I learned a new language. Each small thing is a small piece of a bigger puzzle that we keep constructing. There's not an end. And sometimes it's hard because the ups and downs can bring us down. But then we can look at the big picture and say, wow, okay, cultural adaptation takes time. It's okay to feel different range of emotion, but I'm still navigating in this journey and I'm happy to navigate in this journey. So I don't want to miss the opportunity because I'm afraid of roller coaster. Don't be afraid of the roller coaster because then it's fun. So I would like to leave our listener with this message and say them to like a little tip, like stay connected with your home culture, take care of yourself, but also embrace new experiences around you. So I became a little bit emotional. I was really happy to have you here with me for this today podcast. And thank you also for our listeners that were with us listening to our little culture shock. As always, if you want more information about volunteering abroad with the European Solidarity Corps, you can contact with us and we will be happy to provide you even more information. And I hope to see you soon in the next episode. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.